Okay, so this is going to be my mock video for giving postpartum instructions to a family who has just given birth. So I would say I would have my postpartum instructions printed for them, and I would say the next couple of days we will be wanting you to keep track of a couple things. Babies poops and pees. Babies should be having one poop or bowel movement every day, and then one wet diaper per day of life. So on the first day, one pee, one poo, and then on day 2, 2 wets, 1 poo, and then so on and so forth. Day 3, 3 wets, 1 poo. And we also want to monitor bleeding. So if you notice that you're not moving around a lot, your bleeding will not increase. It'll be slower, but you'll notice more clots. And you should be resting, so you should have some clots. If you're sitting up in bed and all the blood is pooling, then you're going to have a clot. As long as it's not larger than your fist, it's okay. If it is larger than your fist, then I want you to call me immediately. You might want to shower in the first day or two. Just make sure the water is lukewarm and someone is nearby, because you might feel faint while showering, especially if the water is too warm. Speaking of temperature, you want to make sure the baby is warm. Babies do not have the ability to regulate their own temperature yet, and they're used to being inside your body, which is almost 100 degrees. So we want to make sure that they have a layer or two on additional to what you might be comfortable in. And then you also want to monitor baby's breathing. So if baby is all of a sudden breathing really fast, which they will do in the first day or two, they'll kind of go and kind of have like a irregular breathing pattern, and that's okay. You just want to make sure that when they're doing that, they're not retracting their skin underneath their ribs, which is called retractions, and they're not gasping for air or actually struggling to breathe. If baby turns blue, immediately call 911 and then call me after. Their hands and feet might be blue after birth for a couple days, and that's okay, but as long as they're not blue or yellow in appearance, everything is okay. They might become more yellow in appearance after day 1, and that is okay to have a little bit of jaundice, but we don't want to see jaundice before the 24-hour mark. So if you see any yellowing before the 24-hour mark, that's an immediate call to us. We also want to monitor how much you're able to empty your bladder. Not monitor it, but you want to make sure that you're getting up to empty your bladder, because it can make cramps worse. And the cramps, oftentimes we call them after pains. They can be pretty intense, especially if you've had more than one child. And so for that, we recommend Tylenol 600 milligrams, or ibuprofen 800 milligrams, or you can take Tylenol. You can alternate Tylenol and ibuprofen. You can also try, what I really love is cramp bark tincture, and you can just put a squeeze of that, a dropper full of that, in some juice, and that's really nice to help take away the after pains. But at any time you notice that your uterus is soft, you can also just give it a rub and massage it until it feels hard, kind of like a softball, and it'll be more round, and that's what we want. We want it to be clamped down so that you're bleeding, so that where your placenta was in your uterus, and your uterus shrinks back down to size and is healing well. You also want to monitor yourself for fever. If you develop a fever over 101, give us a call. That is an immediate need. We need to figure out what's going on. And you'll also notice that on day 3, we call this the wet day. Day 3, everything is going to be wet. So you're going to be possibly crying and emotional as those hormones start to change. And you're going to be making milk. instead of colostrum, and so you're going to be lactating and soaking through shirts. Your bleeding is going to be there as well. And then, you know, by up to day 3, baby has 3 wet diapers. So it's a lot. It's the wet day. And all those emotions that you're going to feel on that day are completely normal, unless, of course, you're having thoughts of hurting yourself or hurting someone else or your baby. We need to know about that immediately. Baby blues that last beyond 2 weeks, we do consider postpartum depression, so we definitely want to check in on your mood, and we want to make sure you're having more good moments than bad. Yeah, and we want to make sure also that you're staying hydrated, staying nourished, just like you did in pregnancy. It is equally, if not more important now, because you're going to be making milk and you're going to be breastfeeding. And with feeding, you want to offer the breast as often as baby wants, but every 2 to 3 hours during the day, or 3 to 4 hours at night. On this first day, when we leave here, baby will likely take a big long sleep for about 5 hours. That's going to be okay. That big stretch right then is okay. But after that, going forward, to maintain blood sugar and to maintain signaling your brain to make milk, you definitely want to feed at least every 2 to 3 hours during the day, and at least every 3 to 4 hours at night, for baby's blood sugar and for your milk supply. But we will be back here for your 48-hour appointment. So 48 hours after the baby is born, we will be here at that time or before. So would it be okay if we came back Tuesday at 11:30? And that's it. That's all the postpartum instructions. Thank you.